What's going on, everybody? This is episode 4 of your favorite late night college basketball podcast. A little bit shorthanded today, as you can tell. Our co host Luke Tackett, he's on vacation right now, and Jack Sullivan, we have no clue where he's at.
Yeah,
But,
it's like, where's Waldo? We have no idea where he is right now.
but me and Blake are going to be holding it down tonight. As always, I'm your host, Daniel Fow, here with my great co host, Blake Recruits Zone Smith. And before we get into it tonight, we got a huge announcement coming up. We are going to be having Josh Hubbard as our first guest interview. Josh Hubbard is a guard, sophomore guard for Mississippi State. He's averaging 21 points per game, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds per game, while also shooting an electrifying 62% from the 3 point line this year. He's a former All SEC second team member as a freshman and a 5 time SEC Freshman of the Week. So yeah, we are ecstatic about that, and we appreciate Josh for wanting to come on and talk to us. So we're just gonna dive right into it. We had a couple big games Friday night. First one being Purdue versus Alabama. Huge upset for the Boilermakers. Many thought Bama would take this one, but they simply did not. Purdue, they shot amazing, 50% from the field, 56% from three, and the big three of Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, and Fletcher Lawyer went absolutely crazy. Blake, what were your thoughts on that game?
Honestly, as a original Purdue hater on for this year, I thought honestly they weren't going to be able to pull it out, but the Mackey Crazies came out and showed out for them this weekend.
They
CJ
did, they did.
Cox, CJ Cox is another guy we didn't really mention. He had 11 points, and 3 of those were threes in the matter of less than a minute in the second half during crunch time. So that was pretty impressive. And then on the flip side for Alabama, I thought they didn't play up to what their expectations were. Mark Sears, who Luke, our co-host, had predicted as the National Player of the Year, heavily struggled. He was like 5 of 15,
Mhm.
15 points. But then on the bright side, LeBaron Philon, he showed out for Bama. He's a freshman, was a high-rated 4-star. He shot 70% against Purdue, finished with 18 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. I believe he also had a couple steals. That kid can play.
No, yeah, he can. I tell you what, I didn't know about him coming into this season, but man, he's a baller. And yeah, on the flip side of things for Purdue, man, Braden Smith, 17 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds. In my opinion, I think he's the best true point guard in the nation. He's just, I mean, the way he can hit posts, centers off of pick and rolls, he's absolutely amazing. And finding guys like Fletcher Lawyer on the arc for, which of course Fletcher Lawyer is a sharpshooter from any distance, you know just finding guys that are open and being able to read mismatches. He's amazing. And then yeah, Trey Kaufman ran 26 points, 8 boards, and 4 assists. He came up huge for them. And yeah, as you were saying, the fans in general, they really showed up tonight.
Yeah, that stat line for Kaufman is pretty remarkable too, considering he went against like one of the best defensive bigs in all of college basketball. So I thought
Oh
that was
yeah, for
another
sure.
crazy thing. And
Yeah,
then
and
Braden
another
Smith,
impressive thing.
if
Yeah,
if you're a betting man on like in general, Braden Smith over 8 assists or something, I would hammer that every time. That dude is super consistent in his all around game actually. Like it's
he
pretty
is. No, yeah,
crazy.
he is for sure. And yeah, just I mean, especially with Purdue losing their 7-3 center, you would have thought that they'd be shorthanded down low, but man, I mean, they played amazing. I was really surprised by that. And yeah, shout out to Jack Sullivan because he predicted this. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, as we
All
say, he
three of
knows
us
ball.
thought he was a moron for calling that, but crazier
Oh,
things have
yeah,
happened, and in this game it did.
without a doubt, without a doubt. Going into our next huge upset, number 9 Arizona got upset by the Wisconsin Badgers. John Tonje, 41 points and 6 rebounds. I think, what, 2 points shy of tying the school record, which was held by Frank Kaminsky, and 21 for 22 from the free throw line. What were your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, to start out, that game was kind of a slugfest. Uh, I thought it was just all around, just kind of almost a boring game to watch because of
Hmm.
how many free throws were going on for not really just one team. It was both sides that whole game. Like Jaden Bradley, I remember he shot like 13 free throws or something. And then to add on, like how you said, Tanje shot 22 free throws. Like that's absurd. 30
No,
some
you're
free
right.
throw attempts between two guys. Like I get like drawing contact, but that's like a little too whistle happy from the refs.
Nah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, 22. When I checked the stat box on that game, I was mesmerized. That's wild. 22 free throws from one player. But I mean, props to him. Making 21 of them is crazy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for Arizona though, Caleb Love, he kind of had flashbacks to his first couple years in North Carolina. 2 for 13 and 0 for
He did the
6.
Reggie Miller freaking absolute choke job, dude.
It
Oh
was
my
bad.
god.
It was
2 of
bad. Yeah.
13, 0 of 6 from 3 as a guy who's getting paid probably over $1 million in NIL. Like that
I
just can't
actually,
happen, dude.
I think I had seen, and I'm not sure I think it was for college basketball alone. I believe he's maybe around the seventh highest paid player in college basketball this year.
That's absurd.
It
Dropping that
really
kind
is,
of
man.
money for mediocrity. Like I couldn't imagine that.
Caleb, without a doubt, has had shooting struggles his entire college career. And I mean, last year was obviously a lot better than previous, which you would expect. Yeah, I mean, if Arizona wants to go as far as they hope to this season, he's definitely going to have to play a lot better. I mean, Jaden Bradley, though, 22 points, 50% from the field, 6 rebounds, and a steal. He played great, which they're obviously going to need that as well. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Love, man, you got to get your act together, dude.
Yeah. And then they shot a abysmal 17% from 3. Like that
Hmm.
game's got to improve a little bit if they expect to make any type of run come March.
Without a doubt. I know Jack was high on this Arizona team, which he may be rescinding that statement now. But yeah, I mean, 17% from three and then 38% from the field. Yeah, Arizona's going to have to play a lot better. But yeah, as you were saying, dude, that game was kind of a slugfest, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then going into our ranked matchup, Ohio State versus Texas A&M. I obviously picked Ohio State to win this one, and I still am confident they're going to win the Big Ten. But it was just that was a rough game to watch from both sides. I believe both teams shot around, in the 30% range. And I even heard that the refs, I didn't get to watch too much of this game, but I heard that the refs weren't that great either.
Yeah,
So,
they're pretty rough.
yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. But I mean, 34% from the field for Ohio State and I think 38% for Texas A&M. It was just all around bad, bad basketball.
Yeah, it was pretty rough to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Bruce Thornton, if I'm correct, he had a decent game, and John Mobley did as well. But it's just, I mean, yeah, they got to get their act together. And I still, like I said, I still think they can make a run come March. But as we mentioned with Arizona, they're just gonna have to play a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Like A
For
and
sure.
M, I think Taylor only took, or I say this, and it's a decent amount of shots, but I believe he only took like 7 shots, made 3 of them.
Yeah, I believe you're
Obviously,
right on that area.
obviously you don't want him like shot chucking, like as me, Luke. I think all 4 of us have mentioned before that like you don't want him shot chucking all season long, but in
Hmm.
games like this, I would want him 9 times out of 10 putting up shots.
No, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if Texas A&M is going to want to make a run come March tournament time, whenever, they're going to need Wade Taylor to step up big time. And I know we've talked about in the past that he can be a shot chucker, but at the same time, he's the guy who's going to win and lose them ball games.
You almost got to find a medium or a median between those, like
Mm-hmm.
between shot chucking and not taking as many shots as you should. Like
No, yeah, without a
like
doubt.
7 or 8 shots probably isn't enough for him. Closer to 20 is probably overkill. You got to find that median though.
Yeah, for sure. And another guy from Ohio State who's kind of struggled to get it going this year, Michi Johnson. I still think he's going to light it up this year. It's just taking a little bit more time than most people would have thought. I'm sure for Buckeyes fans, they're definitely waiting. But I
Yeah.
mean, what do you think with the rankings coming out? Do you think Ohio State's going to lose their ranking?
Uh, man, probably so because of how some of these other teams have been performing.
Yeah, it seems like the lower seeds, at least in the top 25, have really kind of shown up, and then versus the higher seeds, which have kind of not played as well.
And then like probably Texas might take their spot or like
Yeah.
ranking around that because they've shown to be pretty good in this year. Like
No,
Trey
yeah, Trey
Johnson.
Johnson's been a great leader for them.
Actually, I lied. Texas wouldn't take their spot because Texas lost by 8 to them. So they
Ah,
might
no,
stay
fair
ranked like
point.
24, 25 because A&M is still a quality top 25 team. And they'll probably
Yeah,
stick around in the top 25 spot all year if they play up to par under Buzz Williams.
yeah, for sure. What do you kind of think Texas A&M is going to look like going forward this season? Do you think they're going to be successful in what seems to be a stacked SEC conference?
Uh, Honestly, it's tough to say at this point. A little too early. But like in years like last year, I feel like they played like up to expectations almost. This
Yeah,
year, I think they just need Wade Taylor to be the guy like how he's been for the past couple years. I think Manny Obaski, I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly. I think he's going to be a quality piece moving forward. Uh, Zurich Phelps, I think is how you pronounce it. He's another guy that I think will be right there in like one of their top spots. And then Anderson Garcia and Solomon Washington. I think those two forwards will also be a big piece moving forward. And obviously Henry Coleman, a former Duke guy. I think he's going to be another guy that's going to have to give quality minutes this year.
no, yeah, for sure, for sure. And man, I don't know. It's just with me, it seems like Texas A&M, they always kind of fit right around the middle of the pack when it comes to the SEC. And then, yeah,
Yeah,
once come tournament time, they definitely light it up a little bit, which I think my expectations are going to kind of be the same around that, kind of same as last year, which is where, won't be too impressive during conference play, but once tournament time starts, I think they could easily, go on a little bit of a run. I mean, like I
yeah,
said, though, it's going to come down to Wade Taylor and how great he's shooting the ball.
yeah, definitely. And like how you said, the SEC is insanely stacked this year. Like Kentucky, Florida, Alabama, Texas, teams like that.
Texans.
They're going to be tough to play either at or just at home even. Like even
Yeah, for sure.
Arkansas, they've kind of struggled to start out with, but I mean in that game against Kansas in their exhibition game, granted it was an exhibition game, doesn't matter and the stat books whatever. I think they showed that they can be a good team. And as we've talked about a billion times in the past, I think Calipari has the talent to do special things, but it's just a matter of those guys producing. Granted, I'm getting off topic, but
No, I mean
that's
that's
my
it's a
TED
good
talk.
point though. I mean, staying on the topic of the SEC, yeah, I mean that's a team that definitely is going to have to. I mean, I like to think of them as the previous Kentucky squads. A lot of top freshmen. It's just really going to be how well their offense performs and if they can run good sets and just get good looks and play team ball, not try to ignore the one-on-one stuff.
Yeah.
There for sure. But I guess with all of these teams and these games that are played Friday, where do you kind of see the rankings shifting? How far do you think Bama's going to drop? How far do you think Purdue's going to move up?
I feel like Purdue will end up being probably in the 8 range or so.
Yeah, I can
I
see
don't
that.
think they're gonna go like super high. Like I don't see them going to top 5 right now. I think
Yeah,
uh a team like Kentucky, I think they could go potentially top 5, top 10. I stated like first week or first episode, I think I said something about Kentucky being top 10 or at least showing that they could against Duke. So I think they could be top 10. Bama, I don't think they drop super far. Maybe out of the top 5 because that was kind of rough showing that entire game against Purdue. Other
yeah,
than
for
that,
sure.
I don't know.
Duke and Bama are two teams that lost this week that I'm still not fully out on. I still think Duke is probably has one of the best, if not the best, offense in the nation, right there with Bama. And then
Yeah,
when all of Duke's guys are healthy, I mean, they seem like an unstoppable squad. I said it in the previous episode, which I think if Duke's team was fully healthy, especially Common, Malawak, that they probably would have beat Kentucky with all things
Yeah.
being said. And then with Bam, I mean, not as much injuries, just, hitting shots. I mean, they got all the pieces they need to go on a championship run this year, and it's just going to come down to performance at the end of the day. But me personally, I would say Purdue. I think Purdue and Kentucky are probably going to end up being right next to each other in the rankings. That 8, 9, 10 range. I like to
Yeah.
think Kentucky, as of right now, maybe a top five team as well, but I just don't see the AP moving them up that high. I mean, that would be a crazy jump going from 19 to 5. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I see that. I see them right around the 8, 9, 10 range with Purdue. For Arizona, that was a really rough outing. I'm gonna have to. I would say that Wisconsin is probably gonna be ranked now. Top.
Yeah. I would.
I would say maybe give them around 23. Maybe they replace Ohio State. But as far as Arizona goes, I could see them dropping to down maybe 15. That seems
Yeah.
about realistic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Texas A&M, that was a good game for them. I mean, not a great game, but a good win. I can see them breaking the top 20 now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the rankings are definitely going to shift a lot this week. That is without a doubt. There's a lot of big teams that lost and a lot of lower seeded teams that won. And yeah, I guess something that a lot of college basketball fans have been waiting for, and even probably some NBA fans, Ace Bailey, the highly touted freshman ranked number 2 in the nation in this class, making his debut against Monmouth last night. What did you think about his game?
Man, I loved what I saw. He separation wise, I don't feel like he creates enough, but his length is a massive problem towards the defenders. He showed it to his full potential today. He hit tough mid-range shots, threw it down at the rim super athletically, and he showed to be a high-quality shot maker as well. He's super high flying. He plays both sides of the floor really well. Had a couple steals tonight. I think he's a solid or a solidified top 5 pick. Like that's a
I
little
can
early to
definitely agree with
say,
that.
but I mean, I just see the talent there.
No, yeah, without a doubt. He probably has the most potential in this entire draft class, just with his length and his frame and his athleticism, and even the fact that he can shoot the ball at around 6'10". But
Yeah,
yeah, like you stated, I think my biggest worry with Ace is just being able to create separation in the one-on-one. He's a amazing guy off the ball. I mean, he can catch a lob, he can stand in the corner and get a three. He hits tough shots. I mean, if anybody watched the game against Monmouth, he hit a couple shots that you're just like, holy cow. At first you wonder, why are you taking that? And then he turns around and hits it. And it's like, well, okay, I guess that's his bread and butter right there. But yeah, I think with Ace, and I'm a huge Ace Bailey fan. I've been a fan of him since he was playing in McEachern. But with him, it's definitely going to be a focus on, I guess, getting the ISO to work for you and just overall adding more finesse to your one-on-one game with your dribbling. He's not a great dribbler, and I think if he can really get that down packed, he could end up being the next Kevin Durant for all we know.
yeah, he. I mean, I'm not gonna compare him one on one to KD, but he definitely shows similar flashes at times.
Nah, yeah, yeah, for sure. His one-on-one game isn't there yet. I think he looks a little bit more like a really super athletic and just a kind of an all-around better version of Jabari Smith.
Yeah,
But if he can really start to work on that one-on-one and just overall ball handling skills, he's going to be something special. He may end up being the best player in this entire class. Granted, this freshman class is absolutely stacked.
stacked.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
from
unreal.
top to bottom, dude, this is one of the best freshman classes. And I know we have talked about it probably every episode of this podcast.
Yeah,
But man, this entire class is loaded. This is one of not only one of my favorite classes, but one of the best I've seen since I've been covering basketball. And yeah, I'm excited for I guess what's at stake for these guys coming up in a year or two. But yeah, our last topic on the list, our midnight mid-major spotlight. This one is going to go to my guy, Dante Holloman, who I'm hopefully going to be interviewing soon in person. 23 points in 25 minutes coming off the bench for the Georgia Southern Eagles. Three three-pointers made and went 10 for 11 from the line. One of the most underrated guards in the country, and man, he's a baller when it comes to efficiency. Blake, I know you've been following this guy since he was at previous schools, just transferring in. You've been following, you've been a big fan of him. What were your thoughts on his game last night and just overall this season?
He's been hitting shots efficiently for most of the season. He's a pretty high quality shot maker. He's good off the catch. Tonight he kind of struggled. I saw from the three, shot like 3 of 9 from three. But other than that, this season he's been really efficient from the field. I do think he's gonna be like, or I don't think he's gonna be. I know he is one of the best or most underrated players right now, guard wise in the country. I've said that since he was in high school. But yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have, and without a doubt, I can agree with you on that. I mean, just the fact he's coming off the bench, finding his groove. I think it's not going to be long until he finds a spot in the starting lineup for the Eagles. And just overall, I mean, the Eagles have looked pretty solid this year. It's going to be a team to watch out for in the Sun Belt this season. Which I'm not sure if you've seen this, Blake, but the Sun Belt tournament, it's pretty crazy. Have you seen the bracket for it?
Not yet.
It is literally two lines to the middle. It's going to be 7 games or 14 games in 7 days. And it's just top seeds are going to be at the very front of it. And I think maybe they just have to win one game and they're in the Sun Belt Championship. The bottom seeds are going to literally have to play like I think maybe there's 14 teams in the Sun Belt. It's going to be 14 versus 13. Winner plays again. Winner plays again, winner plays again, winner plays again, all the way until. So yeah, if the bottom seed wants to make it to the Sun Belt Championship, they're gonna have to win 7 games in 7 days.
Crazy.
It's
The
an
Sun Belt.
absolute gauntlet, man.
I don't think the Sun Belt's that bad this year too, right?
No,
Like
yeah,
from
they're
what I've
not. There's a
seen,
lot of.
like Troy played Arkansas kind of close recently. I feel like
Yeah, they did.
Appalachian State has some good players. Coastal Carolina, I forget what I saw out of them. Old
No, yeah.
Dominion's always a quality team. JMU, they're still probably recovering from their coach leaving for Vandy.
Hmm.
Arkansas State, I think they're good this year. I'd have
Speaking
to
of
look into it.
Coastal Carolina, I forget his name, but do they still have that one kid? He was a freshman guard last year. I believe he's a lefty. Averaged a bunch of points.
Meyer,
I think so. Yeah.
trying to think.
No, that kid was
I f-
balling last year.
oh no, he went to DePaul. I forgot he entered the portal this past season. But
Okay,
he's
okay.
speaking of Jacob Meyer, he's on a burner this year.
Is he really?
15, yeah, 15.3 points a game, almost 4 boards a game, almost 2 assists a game. Almost shooting 48% from the field. And he's shooting 38% from three, with
No, yeah,
just
that
one
kid.
turnover a game. That's kind of crazy.
I think, in my opinion, we're going to see him transferring again before his college career is over at a major, major Power Five school.
I could see him going to like Louisville almost, or some other like decent sized school around the Midwest, because he's from Covington, Kentucky.
I was going to say, I thought he was from Kentucky. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
him staying close to home for sure. But yeah, that kid's a baller, I guess, for another mid-major spotlight. Uh, One more thing I wanted to ask you before we end off this episode is, like I said, with the rankings being shifted, who would you consider your top 5 teams as of right now in order?
Uh, I don't know if I could do it in order, but I think Duke, Kentucky, those two got to be like locks for that top five spot. I would
I can
assume
agree.
almost. Because Duke, I mean, even after that loss against Kentucky, they just came out and absolutely walloped Wofford. Granted, Wofford's weak this year. They lost a lot of talent in the past few years, but they just allowed like I think 38 points. Like that's unreal. That's like I think it said the least amount of points that Duke's ever allowed in the shot clock era. Like that's absurd.
Yeah. Duke definitely played a little pissed off today, without a doubt.
And Isaiah Evans got some quality minutes today. Put up like I think 14 points.
I saw that, and I'm pretty sure it was only in like 12 to 15 minutes too. He played
Yeah,
really efficient.
yeah. I think he'll
Yeah,
be
I
a
think.
problem eventually.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm not sure exactly what the injury update status is on Sion James, but I think Isaiah Evans and Darren Harris could definitely start providing some quality minutes for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Sion actually played today. He must be okay. And then
That's
Common
good.
or Come on, I think he ended up playing like 99% of the game today. But
Oh wow.
Like early on, I could have sworn I heard a commentator say something about he was limping or something, but he turned out fine. He killed Wofford.
That's good to hear. Yeah, Duke, like I said, with those guys being fully healthy, they're going to be a problem without a doubt. I mean, regardless of the loss to Kentucky. Yeah, for me personally, and like you said, I don't know if I can do them exactly in order, but I would say right now my top five, I definitely have Duke and Kentucky in there. I'm not Bama. They're a fringe top five for me right now because games like they did
Yeah.
against Purdue. I mean, stuff like that can't happen if you want to be one of the best teams in the nation. But we saw what they did last year, and not only did they upgrade, but I mean, they filled out every missing piece they had. If I'm correct, they may not have lost anybody.
Who was it that you said? I zoned out, kind of.
No, you're good at talking about Alabama.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they hardly lost anyone, dude.
I was
Like, they
gonna
got
say,
Grant Nelson still kicking. Like, he's really good still. Cliff
yeah,
Amarui, he's a portal addition, but he's good. Uh, Mark Sears came back. That Jaron Stevenson, he did awful against Purdue. That's a
yeah.
story for another day, though. And then who else did they get or return? I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm blanking.
Uh, Wrightsell, I'm not sure if he was out of eligibility, but I know they got him back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but no, Bama. I think I still have Bama in my top five for sure. Kansas, they played decent today. I would keep them in my top five as well. I know Jack's not big on Kansas right now.
Yeah, he
And then
actually
to round it
said
out,
that.
UConn for sure. Yeah, so
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
say that's my top five right now.
I forgot about my other three. So I said Kentucky Duke already. Kansas, UConn. Wait, no, not UConn. Take UConn off. Wait, okay,
Really?
I'm restarting.
Okay.
Kentucky. Okay, I'm not doing an order. I can't. Kentucky, Duke, Auburn, Gonzaga, UConn. I don't have
Okay. Oh
Alabama in my
shoot,
top
I
five
forget
right
about
now.
Gonzaga too.
Yeah, they're really tough this year. Nolan Hickman is he's he's really good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I didn't even get to mention the guy's name whenever we had talked about Gonzaga last. I know I mentioned Graham Ike and Ben Gregg, but I think Braden
Ben
Huff is
Huff
his name.
or
Yes,
Braden
dude.
Huff.
That kid, man, he's not much of a rebounder, but off the pick and roll, holy cow, he's one of the
Yeah.
best pick and roll bigs in the country, maybe the best.
He
That
almost
kid,
looks like how Chet did in college, like
yeah,
off
he
the pick and
did.
roll.
Bro, his pick and roll game is just absolutely perfect. He's amazing at post scoring, and he's going
Yeah.
to be around for Gonzaga for probably all 4 years of his college career. And just with the young squad they have, I know, is Hickman a senior this year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Once Hickman and I believe Nembhard's a senior too. If they end up coming back,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they get another year of eligibility. But if they do end up getting them back, that'll be a huge, huge returning piece for them. And Dusty Stromer as well. I know he's only a sophomore right now. Yeah, I'd say Gonzaga, yeah, I'd put them in my top five. Maybe move Kentucky or Bama out right around the six range.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a solid top five for me.
And
Question
then
for you. If UConn and Gonzaga played right now, who do you have winning that ball game?
mm, my gut tells me Gonzaga.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
my
That's
gut
fair.
tells me Gonzaga. Mark
I think
or Dan Hurley, don't kill me, please, if you're seeing this. I just think Gonzaga, top to bottom, that roster is like meshed really well. Another guy we didn't mention from Zaga, Khalif Battle. He's kind of bounced around colleges. He was at Arkansas last year under Musselman. He just put up 21 points on 7 of 10 last night against UMass Lowell or Lau. I don't know how I mispronounced that, but
no,
he's been
yeah.
putting up really good minutes. And the oop he had against Arizona State like a week and a half ago, that was like one of the craziest oops I've seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, for sure. He's been balling for Gonzaga without a doubt. And
Yeah.
then I don't know. For me personally, I'd like to think Gonzaga may win that matchup as well. I mean, Dan Hurley, if you are tuning into these podcasts, I truly appreciate the support, but at the same time, I apologize because as far as I can remember, we haven't said anything good about UConn yet.
Hey,
But yeah,
actually,
I mean,
I said solo ball most underrated or breakout player of the year. That's like the only good thing I can
that's a
think.
good point. Solo has been balling without a
Yeah,
doubt.
he's
No,
almost
yeah.
averaging 2 steals a game, 14 points a game, 3 boards, and 3 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Breakout, in my opinion.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Okay, so Alex Karabenyama. Can we talk about him? Alex
Yeah, we
Karabin.
can. Hey,
Or
man.
frickin' Victor Wembanyama, the college version. That dude is going off this year.
He is,
Sully
dude.
said he couldn't be the number one option, but man, he's looking like National Player of the Year almost.
Yeah, no, that's honestly, like I've told y'all before in the past, I thought he was going to have an amazing season this year. 17-8 range, which looking like he's going to outshine that, which is pretty crazy to say. But yeah, that's somebody that I should have added into my National Player of the Year candidacy. And if UConn keeps up what they've been doing the past 2 seasons, he's definitely going to be in talks for that, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah, and how about Liam McNeely, man? He's really impressed.
yeah, he's definitely having a really good season. Those Montverde products are always consistently good. Like it's
Oh, yeah,
actually
they have
unreal.
been.
Like Robert Wright, he's another one having a really good year for Baylor. Derek
Hmm.
Queen, he's having a phenomenal year. That kid can move for a guy his size.
No, yeah, his footwork is insane for a guy who's
Yeah,
6'10". He plays under the rim a little bit, and as far as it goes as NBA prospect, I'm not sure how highly touted he'll be, but I mean his college game, there's absolutely no denying that he's been phenomenal. And yeah, I mean Cooper Flag obviously needs no introduction. And then Asa Newell, he's been going absolutely crazy for
yeah.
Georgia. He may end up being a lottery pick this season. But yeah, those Montverde guys, God, man,
You can
they have
always
been,
count on them to do damage for your team. In
yeah,
a good
without
way,
a
though.
doubt.
In a good way.
Yeah, no, yeah, good damage, not bad.
Yeah.
I guess, who do you think would win in the matchup? And I know people have probably talked about it before, but will you think Cooper Flag's Montverde team or Cade and them would win in the game?
I think it's Caden them. I
Yeah,
can't
I think I
ever
can
go
agree with that
against
still.
Caden them. Like
That's
Cade
probably the
Cunningham,
best
Scotty
high school
Barnes.
basketball team I've ever watched.
Yeah, I think that Cade team is beating the Chino Hills team too.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like
When
that's
people
been
when
a
people came
discussion
up with
for the
that debate,
longest of time, but like when people say I'm like, what? Like there's no way you're being dead serious that Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball, who else is on that team? LiAngelo.
LiAngelo and then Big O, Onyeka
Oh yeah,
Okongwu.
on Onyeka Okonwu. That team is not beating that Cade team.
Without a doubt, they're not. And then DC the Don. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who that
Oh,
is.
the
The
rapper,
rapper now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was on that team, and I know Andre Ball, which was the Ball brothers' cousin.
yeah,
Yeah, when that debate started, dude, I was just kind of like, "Are you being serious right now?" Like,
yeah,
they were a public school, and you give them credit for that because they obviously didn't recruit nobody. But that's just kind of more hype versus talent at the end of the
yeah,
day. That Montverde team would have 30-pieced them. I have no doubt in my mind.
yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that does it for episode 4. Like as always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And big things coming soon. As we mentioned, the Josh Hubbard interview. It's going to be coming on December 1st, and we're extremely excited for that. It's going to be the start of something big, and we
Sir,
appreciate everybody for watching. So until next time.
appreciate you guys.